What's going on, guys? It's your boy Just Did Back, and we are talking about movie characters from Dragon Ball, the series, coming to Sparking Zero. Now, I don't know, but we know this is gonna have at least 160 characters base roster, and they haven't even showed us. I wouldn't even say half. I don't know if we through all the trailers at this point. Today is June 17th. I don't know if they've shown us half of the characters yet. Maybe including transformations, it might be half, but through the gameplay and stuff that I've seen and the character select screen that they've shown, um, I don't think we've seen half yet. So, just going to talk about the movie characters that I think are potentially coming, and then some tidbits that I've thought about as well. So, Super Janemba, we got here. Obviously, he's going to be in the game at some point. He's all but confirmed. Basically, from the movie 12 Fusion Reborn. I mean, we have Super Gogeta in the game. We even have Base Gogeta in the game, who really didn't fight like at all. So, if he's in the game, we know Super Janemba's going to be in the game, right? Super Saiyan Gogeta, so Super Janemba, he's in the game for sure. I don't know about Base Janemba. Base Janemba might be a different story, but the fat Janemba, Janemba, fat. Clearly, I'm talking about this one. Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna be in the game. We shall see. But on to the next one. He's all but confirmed. The movie characters are really big in Rage and Blast 2. They were emphasized. I know I talk about that game a lot because I have on deck. But Budokai Tenkaichi 3 as well. Definitely in there now. In the Rage and Blast games, they didn't have any like giant characters. So now that we know they're bringing giant characters back, Fat Janemba could also possibly be in the game. Another, oh man, there we go. Another giant form character, Hirudegan. Now, which form of Hirudegan will be in the game? I guarantee at least one version will be in there. I don't know which version. I would imagine it'd be the evolved version of Hirudegan. They could do both, but I guarantee at least one version will be in the game as well. Let's see here. Talking about movie characters. Obviously, we know Base Broly is going to be in the game at some point, but I'm talking about base game when you get it, characters to unlock or that will be in the game. I think, like I said, Janemba, we just talked about, Hirudegan. He might be DLC, but let's go on to Bojack Horseman. Oh, wow. That's funny. Uh, yeah, the pirate, not the horseman. I think he'll be a base game. We wouldn't, need any DLC for him. I don't think. I know we know Sparking Zero is super focused, so Dragon Ball super focused. So, but I know they'll do some movie characters because obviously they're doing DBS Broly and DBS Gogeta, right? So, now the minions, I don't know if they'll be in there. She was in Rage and Blast 2. Was it Zanya or something like that? Like same thing going with Android 13. Super 13 will be in the game. I think base game as well, but I don't know if Androids 14 or 15 might be in the game. The little purple guy in the 15, and then the gray guy 14, who was mute. Honestly, check out the TFS for that. For this movie, it's fantastic. It's probably my favorite one that they've done. As far as the movies go, the TFS Super Android 13 movie is hilarious. Sidetrack. I digress. I think he'll be in base game. I think both versions of him as well will be base game. Shouldn't need to unlock him. So, don't want to go on to the big guy yet, but Garlic Jr. He was not in Raging Blast, but he will be. He was in Budokai Tenkaichi Trace. Is what he looked like. I think he'll be in the game. Both versions, I highly suspect both versions will be in the game. He could be DLC just because he's an older movie villain and not that strong. I mean, they be like, they'll do DLC for like GT characters, Dragon Ball characters, Dragon Ball Diamond characters potentially. So I think Garlic Jr. has a chance of being in the game, base game. But will he be? But they also could do him as DLC as well. But I do think all the movie characters, for the most part, will be in the game, and Garlic Jr. being one of them. Just a matter of if he'll be base game, and I think he will. But that's up for debate. The other three I've mentioned thus far, Janemba, Hirudegan, Bojack, 13, Android 13, they'll be in the game. I guarantee it. And just looking at my list here, Dr. Willow. Now, this guy, I mean, he's just so irrelevant, to be honest. I don't even know if he needs to be in the game. But they're going to do Frieza soldiers. They might as well do Dr. Willow, right? I think he'll be in the game. Just because he's just so easy, right? I mean, this is free eats. You know what I mean? Free eats. Anybody who picks this character, free eats. If you pick Dr. Willow online, free eats. Unless they make him busted. But I think he'll be base game. I can't say for sure. Like if they'll even do him, but I mean, if they were to do the movie characters, like how I'm thinking about they'll do them, just making them unlockable, all technically it's like 10. Then I think it will. I know there's 13 movies, but 10 villains total, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, I think Dr. Willow, he'll probably be in the game. I'm not certain about this one. This one I was thinking about for a long time. But two more people. I'll save Cooler for last. Let's talk about Broly. Obviously, we know he's going to be base game. But this is going to bring me to kind of a different direction here, right? So, Broly, I'm sorry, he's not going to be base game. He's going to be DLC. I don't think he'll be in the base game. Just because he's so marketable. People are going to want to buy him. This is what we want to talk about. Super Saiyan 3 Broly from Raging Blast, bro. This, because he is a what if character in the Raging Blast series, only in the Raging Blast series, we could have some other what if movie characters as well, from like Dragon Ball Heroes. And I did a video about this a year ago about potential what if characters. And now that we've confirmed, or they've confirmed rather, that what ifs are coming back, and in this extremely new and exciting way, I think Broly Super Saiyan 3 has a chance of being in the game as DLC, or even potentially base game. Now, why do I say Super Saiyan 3 Broly will be base game and not regular Z Broly? Because he is a character that will have multiple transformations. Super Saiyan 3 Broly, they can market just as one simple what if character. So I think he has a slighter chance of being base game than regular Z Broly. But either way, I want you guys to kind of get in the mind frame of thinking like the potential what if characters that can come to this game. It's kind of, limitless in the sense of, who they can add potentially and whatnot. But I think this is something to think about. But going back to my initial point, as far as movie characters, obviously this character doesn't exist at all outside of the video games or Dragon Ball superheroes. But I think Broly will be Z Broly will be DLC. But this guy could possibly be an unlockable Super Shenron type of Wish character. But this brings me to Cooler. Oops. Obviously, I think both versions, this version, as well as Metal Cooler, all base game. I guarantee this version will be base game for sure. That's just based upon how they've been marketing characters and everything else. I guarantee Cooler would be base game. Cooler's Revenge. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, Cooler's Revenge. This version. However, I say Metal Cooler as well could be base game just because he'll basically, should in theory work the same way, right? Metal Cooler. Here we go. And he was in the BT3. Not like this though, but it brings me to what I was just talking about with Super Saiyan 3 Broly. We can have Golden Cooler as a potential what if character, as a playable character in the game for the first time. Outside of Dokkan, I think. So this would be extremely interesting. If they drop as either DLC or Super Shenron type of wish character, could be that you only get the what if characters through the wishes, which I think would be dope. Um, I think it'd be super dope if that's what we could do, because that'll change the game. Because then now you have a reason for grinding the Dragon Balls outside of getting X item, right? So I would focus on, like I said, trying to get you guys to think like who what if characters are coming. But I think cooler, like I said before, going back to my initial point, base game. Before he perishes and becomes one with the big Yeti star. I think that version would be base game. Metal Cooler might be DLC, but we'll get some version of Cooler on release. Maybe unlockable, but he'll be in that game for sure. And okay, now going to oops, I can't spell. Going to this character here. First popped up in Raging Blast 2. Well, not first popped up, but he's an OVA character. And Raging Blast 2, I believe, is the first console game, or it might be the only console game that he's in. He might be in a Game Boy game or something like that. But this guy right here, a lot of people don't know him. I think he'll be he might not make the game. Point blank period. He might not. However, I think he has a slight chance of being DLC. And although he's not a movie character, I wanted to bring him up because of the fact that they're doing potential what if characters. What if they're also doing OVA characters? Hence, this character here. And someone we all know and love, the brother of Vegeta, Tarble, also was not in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Neither of those two characters, Hachiak or Tarble. Might be butchering his name, but neither of them were in BT3. Just in Raging Blast 2. And then if we do bring back Tarble, since we are doing Super Dragon Ball Heroes and all that other stuff has been compounded on since Raging Blast 2 when that game came out and had those characters in it, could do a Tarble Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2 Tarble, something like that. Make it interesting, potential what if, But I'm getting away from my initial point, but I did want to tie this in and just bring up the fact that OVA characters I think could be a possibility, either base game or as DLC, more likely than not DLC. But I think we touched on all the movie characters, I believe, from the original 13 movies. Hirudegan, like I said, I think because giant characters are coming back, I think he'll be in the game. Cooler, either Metal Cooler or just normal Cooler. Some version of him will be base game, unlockable. I'm guaranteeing. I'd be surprised if they didn't. Bojack, I feel like he will be. Garlic Jr., I'm on the fence about, but I think he will be base game as well. Janemba, we know, because Gogeta's in that game. That's my for sure guarantee. Like, he's not in the base game. If they do him as DLC, I think they fucked up. Because as of right now, there's not that many villains that have been shown in the game. So I gotta put all my money on Janemba being base game, either unlockable or you might just get him off the rip. Who knows? Or a Shenron wish too. Talked about Z Broly, not him. Not base game, but could be a Super Saiyan 3 what if Broly is base game. And Super Android 13. I think he'll be base game, regular version and the fused version with 14 to 15. Their lackeys might be in the game. Bojack's lackey as well as Android 13 and 14. They might be in the game as well, but I'm talking about movie bosses, the villains, right? So I think I hit on Dr. Willow. I think he'll be in the game, base game, just because he's an early Dragon Ball movies character who's kind of weak. Oh, Turles, our boy. I think he'll be base game. I think he'll be base game. Gotta do the original Goku Black, bruh. Come on, man. Especially his moves are just crazy too. Like the stuff they pull that he does in the movie and put into the games is just so crazy. I think he'll be base game for sure. Turles, I think he'll be base game. How did I forget the Tree of Might? How did I forget my boy? Used to be my favorite villain. From the movies until I watched more movies. But He's still up there. I'd probably either say he's probably like top two. So but anyways, Turles, Kimberly, I forgot about you, buddy. He'll be in there for sure. Um, Maybe DLC, but I'd say he'd be base game just because I think the weaker characters and the more known characters will be base game because they'll be easy to do. And in terms of power scaling and getting all the characters in there, although the game is Dragon Ball Super focused, I still think they'll hit on, try and hit on as many as they can right early on, just because they can, right? They're gonna drop DLC, but you want to make the DLC for, like I'm a Turles fan. Like I'd buy Turles DLC. I'm a Dragon Ball fan through and through. I'd buy Turles or another lesser known character that's not like Broly or Janemba if they did him as DLC, which I don't think they will. Um, so I think as far as they'll do a character like Turles base game because they know if they did him as DLC, he's not going to be as marketable, in my opinion. That's how I would think about it in their shoes. But needless to say, I think I named all 6 characters. I think will come base game as far as the movie villains go. But let me know what you guys think. I will also be probably reacting to the plan to eradicate the Super Saiyans OVA because I've never seen the original Japanese one. I've seen the one that they redid for the Raging Blast 2 video game, but I've never seen the original one all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces, so I might be reacting to that soon as well. Appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, comment below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know if I missed any movie villains. I don't think I did. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the flip. Oh, Bio Broly, I probably missed, but I hate Bio Broly. Hate him. Oh, I guess New Gen Cell Max will be DLC. But outside of that, I think I touched on everyone. But peace. See you guys.